What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about what's going on with Destroy All Humans, the remake of this game. Now, this is a game that I'm very, very excited for. I really do want it to come out. I think in the world that we're in, that there's not a lot of games. Well, we just actually finished an avalanche of amazing games, right? But really, in a couple weeks now, we're going to pretty much be done. We have very little certainty when it comes to when The Last of Us comes out. Will Ghost of Tsushima stay in its spot? You know, when do all these games release? Really, after like Predator, Hunting Grounds, we have nothing until September, which would be Avengers and Cyberpunk. And when it comes to Destroy All Humans, again, I've been a fan for a long, long time. I played this game when it originally came out many, many years ago, and I truly am excited for this remake. Now, here's the deal. I've made a video like this on my second channel. I'll link that in the description if you guys want to check that out. But I did it for this game. I also did it for SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I then talked about it on Podcast Now, got a really nice reception, but I wanted to re-talk about it because I made that video like a month ago, and now we're a month later, and we still have heard literally nothing. Now, here's the deal. I get it. There's obviously something going on around the world. I don't know if you guys have heard, big news story, mentioned every single day. But this thing that's happening, obviously it's throwing a lot of things through a loop, right? A ton of things. The gaming industry has, in a variety of ways, been affected. At the same time, a lot of things have not been affected. I think what we've seen recently, or kind of what evidence would suggest, is games that were originally designed to release very, very soon, they're okay. They're fine. They're actually selling insanely, insanely well. Games that are kind of close, but still a little bit farther out, are having some problems, right? Games like The Last of Us Part 2, games like probably Ghost of Tsushima, unsure about how to get those physical copies out to people. You know that people are going to buy physical copies. So what did Sony do? They delayed it indefinitely. You have Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red recently said we're going to stick with that September 17th release date. That's very good news, but that's in September. Then we have these two games, okay? SpongeBob and Destroy All Humans. Honestly, two games I'm very, very excited for. Probably more excited than I should be, and also probably more excited simply because after, again, Predator, there's nothing. So if these games come out May, June, July, perfect timing, because I'll tell you this, there's literally, to my knowledge, or I guess me personally, games that I want to get, very, very few. Little hope that game from Supermassive Games, that horror game, that game is supposed to, like, leaked coming out in June. That would be really awesome, but I want Destroy All Humans. I want this remake. I think it looks so, so good. It's obviously very, very nostalgic for somebody like me. I think for a lot of people. I think a lot of people grew up playing Destroy All Humans. I think a lot of people are very excited. And again, I get it. What's happened around the world has slowed things down, has stopped things, but you're seeing a lot of game developers being able to work from home. And honestly, a lot of them have been doing a really, really good job. And you see publishers and developers coming out there saying, like, hey, we're doing it. We managed to make it work. Everybody's working from home. Sure, some things are affected, and maybe the communication isn't going to be 100%. We've seen examples with Fallout 76's new update. They can't get it properly tested because they normally do that in the office, and it just doesn't work the same way when they're at home, so they have to delay it. So there are problems. I get that, but I am getting worried in a way for these games. Again, they're not probably games that you need people to start freaking out on. I think it's a little premature, or maybe just something you shouldn't do in the first place, freaking out over where's my Destroy All Humans, where's my SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom game. But at the same time, again, when you don't have a lot of games coming out, and these two games were promised. And honestly, Destroy All Humans has been the more mysterious of them, because I believe this game was only said to be 2020. When they announced this game, and as it got later into 2019, the thing we kept hearing is it's just a 2020 game. I honestly feel like it was supposed to come out in the first half of this year. SpongeBob has always been talked about more in a specific timeline. Now, we talked about that in that video, that SpongeBob, were they going to line it up with the movie? It's possible, but now that movie's been delayed. So the movie was going to be late May. Now it's late July. So do they move the SpongeBob game, or was it ever supposed to come out in May? Would they have it come out in June? We know June is a very popular month historically for releasing games. Games do they do in general very, very good when they release in June. Could that be where Destroy All Humans goes? It's just a little strange, and they're both being published by THQ, so they have the same publisher. So the quietness is a little alarming, because this game is probably very, very close. Now, I believe like 3-4 weeks ago, there was a PAX and people were able, it was right before all this stuff happened, or maybe even simultaneously. It was like the last time that people were actually going to be able to go to a convention to be able to play these games. And there was one, and people played SpongeBob and people played Destroy All Humans. So if you go back, you go on like Google, you go on like news, you can find like hands-on impressions of this game as early as like a month ago. That's probably that's the closest to right now that you're going to be able to find of people talking about this game. But beyond that, there's nothing. There's no talk on release date. There's no talk on anything Destroy All Humans. And again, it's not really in the front of everybody's mind. I get that. I think, one reason I love talking about it is I do believe there's a very passionate group of people that like this game. Obviously, you guys have supported these videos a lot, and I definitely appreciate all of you guys. I truly, truly do. And that's why I wanted your voices to be able to be heard in a video like this, because we are wondering. I think it's fair, by the way. I think it's fair to wonder about games just in general. It's okay to say, hey, like, what's going on? Where's this game? It was supposed to come out in 2020. Now, yeah, there's still plenty of months left, but it really does feel like it was supposed to come out. And I feel like they maybe even said that, like the first half of 2020. But here we are. It's going to be, soon in the middle of April. And like I talked about in the past when I've predicted release date for things, pre-orders are difficult. Pre-orders in a day like right now, like in the times we're in right now, are very messy. You look at what Sony did, even removing The Last of Us Part 2 from the PlayStation Store. They issued refunds to people who pre-ordered it, basically to say like, hey, we're not going to have games being pre-ordered when we don't know when that game's releasing. But that pre-orders are very important to companies. It's a really big indicator for them to kind of measure early on, okay, how many people are excited about our game. I mean, a lot of publishers look at pre-orders. I don't think they should. I think it's kind of, it's not necessarily the best thing in the gaming industry, but it's something that they do. So basically what I'm saying, long story short, you got to announce this game relatively soon, because you're not going to have it come out a week after you announce it. You need people to get ready for it. And that also just not even pre-order wise, that happens with any game in general. You want to announce it, you want to give a little bit of time to kind of ramp things up, get everybody talking about it, get the marketing out there for it, get people to pre-order it, and then the game actually releases. And we haven't even reached that part yet with Destroy All Humans. And I think that's what's kind of not upsetting, but that's what's kind of worrying to me about a game like this. Is I hope we can get it by like June or July. I think that, again, even July is historically a very, very slow time for games. Games rarely come out. I've always talked about on this channel, Nintendo last year crushed it. They came out last July and they said, you know what? No, we're going to put out games. We're going to put out Fire Emblem and Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and they're going to do insanely well. And they're like, we don't care about the age-old rule that you don't put out games in July. We're going to do it. So I think Nintendo proved that notion wrong last year. And if you look at this year, again, there's no games. There's going to be no games for a while, starting in May. So really, whenever you put out a game like SpongeBob or Destroy All Humans, you're going to get, I think, a lot of people jumping in and saying, I remember playing it. I probably wouldn't have gotten this game for any other reason, but there's nothing else to do, A, and B, there's no other games out. Like, I was going to get The Last of Us, but now The Last of Us isn't out, so now Destroy All Humans kind of takes its place. Now I'll play that. People are going to do that. Even I would probably do that too if everything kind of lines up the way it would have, right? Iron Man VR, Last of Us, then let's throw in Little Hope in June, and let's throw in Ghost of Tsushima. Now throw in Destroy All Humans, and maybe even SpongeBob. You have to make a decision. People don't have infinite money. Are you going to buy all 6 of those games? Are you going to buy 3 of them? Are you going to buy 2 of them? Some people can only buy 1. Some people only buy 1, 2, 3 games a year. That's it. So now you don't have to worry about that, because now 0 of those games are probably coming out during that time. And now and you could, again, put Destroy All Humans there, and now people that otherwise wouldn't have bought this game are now going to buy it, because what else are you going to do? And there's no other games available. It's another reason why I've talked about for Marvel's Avengers, the beta. I think it would be a really awesome time to put out, obviously, over the summer, because nobody's going to be doing anything. We're all going to be just sitting there. Then all of a sudden this beta comes out for a game that, could be kind of not great, but it also could be really good, and it's our chance to try it out. And I think that would do really, really good for that game and for those companies as well. So I'm excited, again, for Destroy All Humans. You can maybe judge it based off of how fast I'm talking, although I always do talk this fast. I am excited for this game. This is a game that I would buy. I think it's only going to be like $40. It's obviously, I don't think it's a full price game, so that's obviously good news. It could be less than $40. The cheaper the better, but at this point in time, again, if there's no games coming out and this game does come out, well, there's only one game out, so why don't we all get it? So again, very, very excited. I am just a little bit worried because here we are, middle of April. To be honest, if you would have asked me last December, which I believe this game was announced like second half of last year, if you would have asked me like around Christmas time, I would have told you that I probably would have expected a release date like reveal by this time in 2020. Now we're here. Now we aren't getting it. And again, we have to get it first, and then it actually has to come out, and that's probably going to be at least a month apart from each other. So even if they say they announce it tomorrow, it probably wouldn't come out for another full month. So now we're talking middle of May. So again, the later that this stuff goes, the more we push this, the more it's going to go into late May, June, July, and you just obviously keep going. I don't want it to go that far. I'm a pretty impatient person. At the same time, obviously, I don't want them to rush it. I'm not talking about them giving it to us tomorrow when the game's not ready. I want the game when they're ready to give us the game. At the same time, I do think we all have a right to kind of question, like, hey, what exactly is going on? We've heard very, very little about this game overall, and a lot of people, honestly, are very, very excited. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you guys excited for Destroy All Humans? Were you expecting it to already have a release date by now? When do you think it's coming out? All of those things, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go out, and when this game does come out, when it gets the release date, when it gets closer, when the game does actually, it's in our houses, we will absolutely cover it either here or, like I said, on my second channel. I'll leave the link in the description below if you guys want to check that out. We'll absolutely be covering this game as well as probably any other THQ game, SpongeBob, anything else they have in store for us. We'll be covering it on one of these two channels, okay? Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.